The ArcelorMittal BD Eastern Service Workshop is where some of Europe's most critical railway components are born. This facility produces solid wheels, tired wheels, and axles for trains and trams, all manufactured to exacting EN, UIC, and CSN international standards, the same specifications that keep millions of passengers safe every day. The heart of the process is heat treatment, performed in both gas-fired and electric furnaces. Each furnace is lined with refractory brickwork or high-temperature ceramic fiber insulation to hold precise temperature profiles. Every cycle, from heating rates to soak times to cooling curves, is computer-controlled and continuously logged by a dedicated heat treatment data recording system. That digital audit trail isn't just good practice, it's a regulatory requirement for safety-critical railway components. Walk into any large refinery, chemical plant, or power generation facility in America, and somewhere deep in the machinery hall, you'll find turbines, the spinning hearts that keep the whole operation alive. The Houston workshop specializes in bringing those machines back to life when they've been pushed to their limits. Steam turbines, gas turbines, and industrial compressors all share a common challenge. They run hot, fast, and under enormous mechanical stress. Clearances between rotating blades and stationary casings can be measured in thousandths of an inch. When those clearances open up, through wear, erosion, or thermal distortion, efficiency drops, vibration climbs, and eventually the machine has to come out of service. The overhaul process starts with a complete teardown and dimensional inspection. Each rotor is carefully lifted, staged, and mapped for runout, journal wear, and blade condition. Blade profiles are checked against the original engineering drawings, a task that blends old-school craftsmanship with modern laser measurement. Worn or cracked blades are replaced, and in some cases, entire blade rows are rebuilt using precision-matched replacements machined to the original aerodynamic profile. Casings and diaphragms are inspected for erosion, cracks, and seal wear. Labyrinth seals, the stepped metal strips that control leakage between stages, are often refurbished or replaced to restore the tight clearances that determine efficiency. Bearings are replaced as a matter of course, and the entire rotor assembly goes through dynamic balancing on a precision balancing stand that can detect imbalance down to fractions of a gram at operating speed. After reassembly, the machine is test run and performance checked before being shipped back to the customer. Steel forging is one of the oldest metalworking traditions in human history, and Timken steel has spent over a century refining it into a modern science. Timken steel's forging press is rated at 300 tons of force, and that number is not just impressive for its size. It means the press can develop enough pressure to work through the entire cross-section of a large steel billet, aligning the grain structure of the metal from the outside all the way to the core. That's what the industry calls center line integrity, and it's the difference between a steel bar that performs under extreme stress and one that fails at the worst possible moment. The process starts with carefully selected steel heats, melted in an electric arc furnace, and refined in a ladle metallurgy station to hit exact chemistry targets. The molten steel is then continuously cast into round or square blooms, which are the starting stock for both the rolling mill and the forging press. Before any mechanical work begins, the blooms are reheated in a soaking pit furnace, a controlled environment that brings the steel to a uniform forging temperature, typically between 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Uniform temperature is everything here. Too hot and you get excessive grain growth. Too cold, and the steel resists deformation and can crack under the press. At the forging press, the heated bloom is placed under the dies and compressed in a series of controlled reduction passes. Each pass reduces the cross-section and, critically, breaks down the as-cast dendritic structure, the tree-like crystal patterns that form when steel solidifies. This deformation and recrystallization process produces tight, uniform grains that give forged steel its exceptional fatigue strength and toughness. The 300-ton press can apply that force across large diameter billets, which is why Timken steel can supply large dimension bars that many competitors cannot match. After forging, the bars go through controlled cooling and then into finishing operations, straightening, turning, and ultrasonic testing to verify internal soundness. Every bar is traceable from the original heat number all the way to the finished product, a chain of custody that demanding industries like aerospace and defense require. Drill pipe is the backbone of every oil and gas well, and JSH's production process shows just how much precision engineering goes into something that spends its life thousands of feet underground, under enormous torque and pressure. The process begins with carefully inspected seamless steel tubes selected for the appropriate grade, commonly S135 or X95 for modern directional drilling applications. The tube ends are machined to form an upset, a thickened section that provides extra wall thickness where stress concentrations are highest, right at the tool joint connection. This upset forging is done hot, using powerful hydraulic presses that compress and elongate the tube end under controlled temperature. Then the upset ends are rapidly quenched and tempered to achieve the required toughness and yield strength. Tool joints, the threaded male pin and female box connectors, are machined separately from alloy steel bar stock, with precision CNC lathes cutting the API or premium thread profiles that must make up reliably under field conditions. The threads are gauged to tight tolerances and phosphate-coated for corrosion protection. Joints are then friction welded to the pipe body, a process that generates heat through rotation and axial pressure, creating a metallurgically bonded joint without filler metal. After welding, the joint area is inspected by magnetic particle testing and ultrasonic methods to confirm weld integrity. The completed pipe is then full-body ultrasonically tested, hydrostatically pressure tested, and measured for straightness before receiving its final coating, typically a zinc-based internal lining for corrosion resistance and flow efficiency. Today, we're looking at something that takes the art of turning to a whole new level, the Samsung SL25ASY CNC Turning Center, a machine that quietly changed the rules of what a lathe could do. Now, most of us who grew up around machine shops remember the classic engine lathe, the workhorse of American manufacturing. It had two axes, X for moving the tool in and out, and Z for moving it left and right along the part. That was enough to make shafts, bushings, and threaded rods that built this country's industry for generations. But the Samsung SL25ASY? It adds a third axis, the Y-axis, and that changes everything. Here's why that Y-axis is such a big deal. It lets the cutting tool move up and down relative to the center line of the workpiece. That might sound like a small thing, but in practice, it means you can mill flat surfaces, drill off-center holes, cut keyways, and machine hex flats, all without ever unloading the part from the lathe and moving it to a separate milling machine. In the old days, a machinist would rough turn a shaft on the lathe, carefully chalk mark it, and then walk it over to the mill for secondary operations. That took time, introduced alignment errors, and required two setups. The Y-axis eliminates all of that. The SL25ASY is built around a 45-degree slant bed design, which keeps chips falling away cleanly from the cutting zone. The machine features a powerful main spindle capable of high-speed, high-torque cuts, paired with a sub-spindle that lets you finish the back face of a part in the same cycle. The live tooling turret, typically a 12-station unit, can drive rotating drills and mills at the off-center positions made possible by that Y-axis. Rigid tapping, contour milling, and polygon turning are all within reach of a single setup. The control system, usually a FANUC or equivalent, gives the operator full 3-axis interpolation, meaning X, Y, and Z can move simultaneously for complex contoured cuts. Tool life management, automatic offset updates, and conversational programming help reduce the learning curve, which is important in today's shops where experienced machinists aren't always easy to find. What you're watching in this clip is a live demonstration of exactly those capabilities. Notice how the turret indexes, engages a driven tool, and cuts a precise keyway slot along the side of a turned shaft, without the part ever leaving the chuck. That's the Y-axis at work. It's not just a feature, it's the most valuable thing about this machine. Friction stir welding (FSW) might be one of the most fascinating joining processes in modern manufacturing. Instead of melting the metal, a rotating tool generates frictional heat that plasticizes the material and mechanically stirs the two pieces together. The result is a solid-state weld with no filler metal, no spatter, and virtually no distortion. In this demonstration, the optimal travel speed was found to be 1,000 millimeters per minute, fast enough for production efficiency while producing the ductility needed to survive downstream forming operations. HFQ dome forming trials confirmed that the welded blanks could withstand the high-pressure forming process without cracking at the weld line. FSW is increasingly used in aerospace, automotive lightweighting, and railcar construction, anywhere engineers need strong, lightweight aluminum joints that can handle real-world loads.